Most people aren't concerned about retiring rich. They're scared about running out of money as they age, especially in retirement years. And this isn't a rich people problem. This is an everyday people problem because prices are going up faster than wages. And more people are projected to not have enough saved or invested that can outpace inflation by age 65. Healthcare costs are exploding. Pension plans are disappearing. And Social Security isn't enough to take you through retirement as it did for our grandparents and great-grandparents. So running out of money before you run out of life is scary. And this is the biggest fear that most people carry silently. It is not just fear for retirees. It's also a threat for people in their 30s and in their 40s and their 50s and 60s who's working hard now but not building enough or building intentionally. So let me walk you through and break this down step by step so that you don't outlive your money. Because the reality is more and more people are living longer. So this means you can't plan for retirement like you'll only have 10 to 15 years to live after retiring at age 60 or after retiring at age 65. Because the reality is you could live another 20, 25 years or 30 years after you retire at age 60 or 65. That's a whole nother adult lifetime without having a working paycheck. So you have to account for your longevity gap, which is the number of years you'll need funding with your own money, with your own sources to support you in retirement when you're no longer working. And it's always good to project longer than shorter. So if you're planning to retire at age 60 or age 65, project that you'll live until age 95 or 100. Start identifying now, what would it take for me to get there so that I can account for my longevity gap? If I retire at age 60, I'll need to account for another 35 to 40 years. If I retire at age 65, I'll need to account for another 30, 35 years. So identify your number first. How much money will I need to live comfortably every month? And once you identify that number, you'll need to ask yourself, where will I be pulling the money from? My 401k? If so, write that down. My pension plan? If so, write that down. My brokerage account? My annuities? Whatever it is that you'll be pulling the funds from, write that down and notate that down. Because remember, you won't be drawing in an hourly paycheck nor a salary paycheck anymore. So what sources will my funding be coming from? You also want to include your emergency fund because sometimes once you retire, it takes some time for your retirement paycheck or your pension plan to kick in right away. So create at least a one-page retirement map that includes your income sources, like Social Security, like your 401k, and like your pension plans. Because you gotta treat your future like a business by identifying where are the dollars coming from and how long will it last me. Then once you've identified and you've outlined where your sources are coming from and you've outlined and you've identified what your monthly expenses are, the next question is, what would I actually need for it to last? And here's how to figure it out. Calculate your monthly living expenses to understand how much you need per month to live comfortably, then project it out across your retirement years. For example, if you need $3,000 a month and your retirement age goal is 60, assuming a 30-year longevity gap, you'll need about $1,080,000 combined across your accounts. If you need about $5,000 a month and you plan to retire at age 65, with the same 30-year longevity gap, you'll need about $1.8 million. Now, don't let the large number intimidate you where you start judging yourself and where you start feeling overwhelmed and overly critical of yourself. And now you're overthinking and now you're trying to talk yourself into or talk yourself out of, is retirement even possible at this point? Retirement is always possible when you have a plan and when you don't let fear paralyze you. And this is why it's so important, and this is why I always suggest not to do this portion alone because of how uneasy and overwhelming this portion can be, especially when you're trying to figure it out on your own. So do this portion as early as possible with a financial professional that's not just trying to sell you products and not just trying to get money from you, but they're trying to get money to you by way of implementing a financial strategy that supports you through your retirement so you don't outlive your money. Someone who can expose blind spots and factor in inflation and factor in taxes and factor in healthcare costs. Someone who can see and project what you don't see and what you don't know to project. Hey family, coming up on your screen is information to contact my licensed comprehensive financial advisor. If this episode is what you're looking for so that you can make sure that you don't outlive your money, don't just sit on this information. Take action now. Click the link in the description or you can scan the QR code on your screen below so you can schedule your session and start protecting yourself for as you age later in life. Because the end goal is not to just retire, but to retire successfully. Back to today's episode. So the goal right now is for you to continue paying off any high interest debt that you may have. Don't wait and say you'll look at the retirement numbers after you've paid off the debt, because you're only giving yourself an excuse to procrastinate. Because the financial professional can also help you with a debt payoff plan that aligns with your financial numbers so that you can retire successfully. Because that's the end goal everybody wants. Anybody can retire, but not everybody can retire successfully. So work on aggressively paying off your debt at least within the next 12 to 18 months so your debt won't affect your retirement numbers. Because when you're in retirement years, high interest debt will sabotage your retirement funds. And this is how most people outlive their money, because interest eats away at it in large chunks over a long period of time. And once your debt is under control, the next step is just as critical: knowing your retirement numbers, knowing your true retirement numbers. So start by writing down your monthly cost of your bills, your insurance premiums, your transportation expenses, any fuel that you may spend, and any and everything in between. Because this number matters more than you think, because it forms a foundation of your retirement strategy, because you'll take that total and multiply it by 30 to 35 years. Now, I know the standard is times 25, and that's the standard for 25 years, but again, if you retire at 60 and you live until age 95, that's 10 years left uncovered, and you run the risk of outliving your money. And catch this, we haven't even touched on where inflation is projected to be in the next 25 nor 30 years from now. Make sure you have a long-term care plan. This is what leaves so many people in their 70s and in their 80s so vulnerable. It's when this important piece isn't considered in the process. So let me explain what it is and how it affects you. Because most people assume that when they retire, Medicare will take care of all of their medical needs, but it won't once you get through all the limitations and exclusions that's in the fine print of it. It does not cover long-term care, which is the kind of care you'll most likely need when you're in your 70s, 80s, or 90s. And long-term care isn't about hospital stays or emergency surgeries, and most people confuse the two because of the term long-term care. This is the plan that brings in financial support for when you need ongoing help with everyday tasks as you age and experiences illnesses or restrictions like bathing and having assisted nursing care at your home to ensure you're bathing comfortably and safely, ensuring you don't fall while bathing and helping you get dressed if needed, cooking and help you eat or feed yourself, assisting you getting in and out of the bed or in and out of a wheelchair, managing your medications for you, because remember, as you get older, you may get mixed up with different variety of medications and supplements that your doctor to put you on and take you off of. What medication are you discontinuing? How do you organize your medicine case to make sure that you are taking the proper medicine in the proper dosage on the proper days? And let's not forget supervision for Alzheimer's and dementia, memory care support. So having a long-term care plan provides the financial support for when you need part-time or full-time nursing assistance later as you age. And this is what causes most people to outlive their money, and I see it every day. They determined when they were 40 or 50 that I don't need that, I'll be fine. I'll be strong enough to care for myself, and my kids got me, and we'll be good. We don't need that. And while they wanted that to be true, later on at 70 or 80, they need assistance. And when they seek for assistance, they can't afford it at that age. And when they apply for it through government programs, they are instructed that in order for us to help provide you financial support, you will need to submit documentation that shows that you only have about $2,000 in assets, which means you'll need to deplete your 401k account. You'll need to not own your home because your home is considered as an asset as well. So basically, you have to be worth about $2,000 or less for the government to provide financial support. And once you meet the requirement, you may qualify for about $500 a month for nursing support. And meanwhile, your nursing support is about $2,000 or $5,000 a month. This is why I always say, don't depend on the government to save you, especially at an age where you're most vulnerable. So start now at 30 or 50 or 60 or whatever age it is that you're watching this. Start now securing your long-term care plan that you own. So when you're most vulnerable, you don't have to look for who's going to help you cover or support this or that. You'll already have the coverage in place that provides what you need later. Now, the old school method is phasing out, where we as the family was the long-term care plan back then, where there were 6 kids and 10 kids per family. And the kids pulled their resources together to nurse or to care for mama or for daddy or for papa or Madea or nana or grandma. And although generations have significantly changed, there's one thing that has stayed the same. The caregiving typically falls on the woman, the daughter, the granddaughter, or the niece. That's just how it usually works. And I'm not saying that men or that the sons fall short or fall off or are neglectful. I'm not saying that at all. But the physical nursing and the physical caring of the matriarch or the patriarch of the family typically falls on the woman. So the internal family long-term care plan that worked in the 70s and 80s is almost obsolete now, because more families are having less kids. And with more and more women now having careers and businesses and full-time jobs, the long-term care plan internally no longer works. And putting that level of financial strain and burden on your kids today to care for you later without a long-term care plan in place, it's disheartening. Because your kids and your nieces and your nephews and your grandkids have their own financial stability to create and sustain. Now, of course, kids are going to help where they can, but the full weight of nursing and caring for you as elders, it'll become overwhelmingly unmanageable for them. Because most people think that having $500,000 in their retirement account, that is more than enough money that they would need just in case they need nursing care. But you got to remember, You're also living off of that same $500,000. And you also living off of that $1.8 million and paying $5,000 or $2,000 a month in nursing care services. That can deplete your account quick, because who knows what the price will be in the next 20 or 30 years. So let's look at the numbers. What does it actually cost in general? According to Genworth Cost of Care survey that was taken in 2024, in-home health aid part-time typically starts at about $5,000 a month. Assisted living facilities about $4,500 to $6,000 a month. Private room in a nursing home is about $9,000 to $12,000 a month. And the average cost of memory care, meaning for people affected by Alzheimer's and dementia that needs memory care nursing assistance, that typically starts at about $7,000 a month, and it can go up to $11,000 a month depending on the severity. And those numbers go up every year due to inflation. But here's the hidden risk most people miss. 70% of people ages 65 and up will need long-term care at some point later in life, whether it be a few months after surgery or a couple of years with Alzheimer's or daily in-home care after having a stroke or arthritis that impacts your mobility or neuropathy that impacts your mobility. And when this happens and you don't have a long-term care plan in place for this, the money either come out of your retirement savings, your home equity, or your children's income if they can afford to help. And in most cases, they can't because they're financially supporting their own families. They can only help to a certain extent. So again, Medicaid and Medicare may help, but only after you spent down your assets to poverty level and you've worked too hard for so many years to spend your retirement years in survival mode at poverty level. Planning for long-term care isn't about fear, it's about freedom. Because you're not preparing for worst case scenario. You're protecting everything you've worked for. Think of it like putting your financial seatbelt on. You hope you never need it, but when life hits, you'll be glad you have it. Because no one regrets preparing early. They only regret waiting too long, but never preparing at all.